Hey curious! Are you ready to get slimed? Because today we're taking a look at the iconic 1984 film, Ghostbusters. This classic movie has it all: proton packs, giant marshmallow men, and of course, a catchy theme song that will be stuck in your head for days. So let's grab some popcorn and see how this movie has held up over time. The amazing Sigourney Weaver brought to life the pretty and smart Dana Barrett. As a successful musician, Dana becomes the target of supernatural forces that threaten to possess her. Weaver's acting skills shine as her character transforms from a composed individual to a vulnerable victim and ultimately, a triumphant hero. Oh, and is always important to remember that her chemistry with co-star Bill Murray adds depth to her character, making her captivating and memorable. Bill Murray is known for his humorous and charming performances throughout his career, and in Ghostbusters Murray played the character of Dr. Peter Venkman, one of the lead paranormal investigators of the Ghostbusters team, and my favorite one in the whole franchise. Venkman's character was witty and sarcastic, adding a touch of humor to the otherwise spooky storyline. Even today, fans continue to celebrate Murray's performance and the enduring legacy of Ghostbusters, just like us here. Dr. Raymond Stantz, portrayed by the ever-enthusiastic Dan Aykroyd, was a character who brought a whole lot of passion to the paranormal investigation game. While Aykroyd's performance may not have been his most memorable, Stantz's dedication to fighting off ghosts was certainly admirable. As one of the founding members of the Ghostbusters team, Stantz played a crucial role in saving New York City from a supernatural invasion, and it's hard to imagine Ghostbusters without him. And did you like him in the movie? Harold Ramis played Dr. Egon Spengler, one of the co-founders of the Ghostbusters team. Spengler's character was portrayed as a brilliant scientist who used his knowledge of the paranormal to develop the team's signature ghost-catching equipment. Ramis's deadpan delivery and subtle humor were a perfect fit for Spengler's analytical personality, and he also co-wrote the screenplay and helped shape the film's unique blend of comedy and horror. Sadly, he passed away in 2014. Winston Zeddemore, played by Ernie Hudson in Ghostbusters, was a character who brought a unique perspective to the team's paranormal investigations. As the only non-scientist on the Ghostbusters team, Zeddemore provided a practical and grounded voice that complemented the more analytical and theoretical approaches of his colleagues. While Zeddemore may not have had as much screen time as some of the other Ghostbusters, his character was nevertheless important to the film's overall story. The incredible Annie Potts played the role of Janine Melnitz, the Ghostbusters' sassy and efficient secretary, who was responsible for managing their appointments and keeping their equipment in order. Potts's performance as Janine was a standout in the film, bringing a much-needed dose of humor and attitude to the proceedings. Potts's portrayal of the character was a key part of what made Ghostbusters such a beloved classic, and she remains a fan favorite to this day. Oh, and I have to say, I had a crush on her. William Atherton played the part of Walter Peck, the ultimate party pooper who made it his personal mission to shut down the Ghostbusters operation. With his perfectly coiffed hair and insufferably pompous demeanor, Peck was the living embodiment of a fun sponge. William brought a certain level of comic relief to the film, making audiences laugh at his over-the-top antics and absurd accusations against the Ghostbusters. Peck have been a pain in the butt for the Ghostbusters, but he was a delight to watch on screen, right? David Margulies played Mayor Lenny Klotch, a classic portrayal of a politician who's in over his head. He spends most of the movie trying to balance the interests of the city, the safety of its citizens, and his own political career, all while trying to understand the strange and terrifying events unfolding around him. Klotch ultimately becomes an ally of the Ghostbusters, granting them permission to act against the supernatural threat to the city. Sadly, the actor passed away in 2016. Stephen Tash played iconic nameless character, known only as male student. He took part in an experiment at Columbia University to study the impact of negative reinforcement on ESP ability, alongside a pretty blonde girl, but ended up just receiving a lot of electric shocks. His performance may not have won any awards, but it is remembered to this day, and it certainly won our hearts. Unfortunately for him, he didn't win Peter's heart. And now the female student, played by the beautiful Jennifer Runyon. Jennifer's character was paid $5 to guess the image on the backside of Zener cards that Dr. Venkman held up. It was an experiment created to study the impact of negative reinforcement on ESP ability, but eventually Venkman became more interested in doing other things with her. The experiment was cut short when Stantz interrupted the two to take Dr. Venkman to investigate the library ghost. Michael Ensign portrayed the hapless hotel manager in Ghostbusters. From the moment he first appeared on screen, Ensign's hotel manager was a character we loved to hate. He was arrogant, petty, and completely clueless, making him the perfect target for the Ghostbusters hijinks. Ensign's physicality was a standout aspect of his performance, as he stumbled and bumbled his way through the hotel, trying to assert his authority over the Ghostbusters but ultimately failing miserably. Alice Drummond played the role of the quirky and forgetful librarian who appears in the opening scene of the movie, where she is seen exploring the stacks of the New York Public Library after hours. As she searches for books, she starts to hear strange noises and sees books flying off the shelves on their own. Eventually, she encounters a ghostly apparition, and her panicked reaction sets the tone for the supernatural hijinks that follow throughout the film. Even appearing in only few minutes, her scenes are memorable. Jordan Charney played the role of Dean Yeager, a stern and unyielding academic who is skeptical of the Ghostbusters' claims about the supernatural. Throughout the film, Charney's character acts as a roadblock for the Ghostbusters, attempting to shut them down and discredit their work. He even goes so far as to threaten to terminate their funding and expel them from the university. Despite being a relatively minor character, Charney's performance as Dean Yeager played a crucial role in the film's story. Timothy Carhart played the role of the handsome but slightly dim-witted violinist. As a character, the violinist was not essential to the main plot, but added a bit of comic relief to the film. He was the object of affection for Sigourney Weaver's character Dana Barrett, and his appearances in the movie were primarily focused on their budding romance. He was portrayed as an egotistical and self-absorbed musician who was oblivious to the strange happenings around him. Rick Moranis played the role of Louis Tully, the nerdy and awkward accountant. Tully's character was instrumental in the film's plot as his possession by the demonic entity, Vince Clortho, led to the unleashing of the villainous, Gozer the Gozerian. His physical comedy skills were also on full display as he runs around the streets of New York in his demon dog form. Moranis' performance as Louis Tully was a highlight of the film, and a testament to his comedic talents. Slavitsa Jovan played the role of the villainous, Gozer the Gozerian, a supernatural entity that threatened to destroy the world unless the Ghostbusters could stop her. Her performance as the menacing villain was both terrifying and alluring, and she commanded every scene she was in. Her striking appearance, with her shaved head and androgynous features, added to the otherworldly feel of the character. Her famous line, "Choose the form of the destructor," has become one of the most memorable lines in the franchise. Well, we hope you enjoyed taking a trip down memory lane with us and seeing how this movie has aged like a fine wine, or maybe more like ectoplasmic residue. While some aspects of the film might not hold up to today's standards, we can all agree that Ghostbusters will always have a special place in our hearts. So don't be afraid of no ghosts, and be sure to hit that like and subscribe button for more movies and series. See you in the next video. Over and out.